Surprisingly, one of the most stressful parts of a wedding day is actually before the wedding, trying to remember everything you need to bring with you to a wedding. If you know this to be true, sound off in the comments below. So because of this, let me give you all a pre-wedding checklist of all the things I make sure to remember and bring with me on a wedding day. Starting out with the more obvious stuff, but my camera gear. Having two camera bodies gives you a backup camera, and you're always going to want that because if your camera decides to just stop working for whatever reason, you know you have another working camera. You all have already seen on my wedding days that I always shoot with two cameras, and I have them on a nice double leather strap. Next up are going to be your lenses. Now there's two main routes that you can take here. Using prime lenses only, which are non-zoom lenses, or zoom lenses. Personally, I prefer prime lenses. However, zoom lenses are extremely versatile and awesome to use as well. For prime lenses, you're probably going to need to take 3 or 4 lenses with you for a wedding day. I generally take 4. These 4 are going to range from a 24 all the way up to an 85 to give me the range that I need. Now, if you're shooting prime only, you have to use 2 camera bodies. There's no other way to do this because if you're doing a single camera body and multiple prime lenses, you're going to be changing your lenses too often or caught in situations where you don't have the time to change your lens. So remember that if you're going the prime route, always use 2 camera bodies. For zooms, you can do the classic 24 to 70 and 70 to 200. This is going to give you a nice wide range on your wedding day and lots of versatility. Now with your zooms, you could go with just one body, but again, you will be switching your lenses throughout the day. But this is not a big problem if you know when and where you want to switch it. Like let's say you 24 and 70 all the way up to the ceremony and then back to 24 to 70 for the rest of the day. That would possibly be what I would do on a wedding day when it came to changing lenses with zoom lenses. Now that we have our main parts out of the way, you have your second main parts, which are going to be things like your SD cards. Obviously, without the SD cards, you cannot take any photos, so you absolutely need these. Now, if you're just starting wedding photography and you don't have a camera with dual card slots, I highly recommend upgrading. I personally did it myself for about 2 to 3 years, and it's not a risk that anyone wants to take. Thank God that I didn't have any issues with my SD cards, but when you have dual camera slots, that means you're shooting to 2 SD cards at the same time. So because of this, you're generally going to want to bring 4 SD cards with you to your wedding day. If you want to bring a backup, bring like 1 or 2 backups, but normally you should be fine. In my 10 years of being a wedding photographer, I've never had an SD card fail, so I honestly wouldn't be too stressed about it. Also, if you have a second photographer coming, bring a couple SD cards for them as well. This way you can give them one, they'll shoot on it, they'll save to both theirs and their second camera slot, and then give it back to you at the end of the night. After your SD cards, you need additional batteries. Especially with all these mirrorless cameras, they tend to eat through batteries fairly quickly, so you're gonna wanna bring at least 4 additional batteries. Now, clearly this depends on your camera, so you should get to know your camera, and if you don't practice with it often and know it well, I would highly recommend going out and just doing some street photography. I'll leave a video up above about my opinion on that, but I think street photography is one of the best ways to actually practice for wedding photography, especially if you want a more documentary style. So 4 batteries is probably safe. If your cameras eat up more battery, bring 6, but just 1 battery for each camera, you should be good to go. Next up in our essential must-haves are going to be flashes. If you don't have yourself some speed lights, you definitely need them. And don't be one of those photographers that show up on the wedding day and think, well, we have Lightroom denoise, so it's fine and we can just use the AI denoise and it'll be okay, and then shoot just no please don't do it. Bring yourself some flashes. For an easy setup for myself, I bring 2 flashes, which I have on each of my cameras, and then I'll also bring 2 additional flashes that I can use off camera. This is a total of 4 flashes, and they're all just speed lights, which are the cheaper flashes. If you want a larger setup that's going to throw out more light, you can get some strobes like the 8200 by Godox for your off-camera flashes, and then have 2 speed lights on each of your camera. So those are all of our essentials. If you're not bringing these first things to your wedding, you're not even a wedding photographer. Let me know if there's any other essentials you think you should bring in the comments below, and let's talk about some extra additional things that I bring as well that I'm always having with me at a wedding. One of the most important things I do, and it feels a little old school, but print out your timeline and your shot list. Don't show up to the wedding having to look at your shot list on your phone. People don't know if you're just messing around on your phone or if you're actually doing work. It just doesn't look good. And I do check my phone at the wedding. There's nothing wrong with it, but again, it doesn't look good because no one knows. Most of the time, people are going to look at you and be like, oh, the photographer is just on his phone, like chilling. So print out your shot list and your timeline. Also, in my opinion, it's much easier to pull a timeline out of your pocket and look at it rather than taking out your phone, unlocking your phone, making sure where it needs to be, and all these notifications. It's too much happening. With the shot list and the timeline, I can pull it out and show it to someone if needed. I can even just hand it to them and they can deal with it. Like on the shot list, my shot lists are only about the actual family photos and any additional things that I may not know about on their wedding day. Because of this, I'm going to hand it to my second photographer to help me with the family photos. It makes it so much easier than giving them my phone, then the phone locks by accident, then they got to come back to me for Face ID. It's not. It's the worst. So your timeline, your shot list, print them out. Again, I know it's old school, but being able to throw it in your bag, being able to throw it in your pocket and pull it out whenever is huge. Next up, I mentioned it before, but a nice camera strap and a bag. If you all have been watching my full wedding day videos, which I'll link up above, you see I have a nice double strap that I'm using my 2 cameras with and an additional bag so I can have all my gear right on me. I've never been the type of photographer who likes to bring a nice big bag that I have to roll around. Now, I may start doing that in the future. Obviously, it gives you more versatility, but it's also a whole nother bag that can get stolen, a whole nother bag that's in the way, and a bag that you have to go back to all the time and get something. I like wearing my bag on my back, and while I might be limited, I have everything I need right there on my back, and I can quickly reach back, whip it out, and get what I need. I use the Hold Fast Gear Moneymaker, that's my double strap, and I've been using them since I started my business. Honestly, it's been one of the best purchases I've ever made, and while this video is not sponsored by them, I'll leave a link in the description below for y'all to check that out. I have 2 of them, my original one that I started my business with, which I could still use, but I also have a newer one that I mainly wear now. And that's it. 10 years, 2 straps, and I haven't really needed any others. I also have their solo strap, which works out well, and a couple of bags. So I highly recommend them. I honestly cannot shoot anything without them. Something that tends to be underrated is a nice lens wipe. I mean, there's so many times where, especially when I shoot with the GFX, that I touch the lens by whatever reason and leave a big smear on it, or someone comes by and touches the lens, or there's a dog at the wedding. There's just so many reasons why you need to be able to wipe off your lens, and why you could do it with your shirt. That's just not a good look. There's all kinds of places you can get nice lens wipes. I actually have this really nice Fujifilm GFX one that I love to use. I also have some from KEH Camera. Theirs are really good. And I also use the ones for my glasses on my lenses as well. So I have these all over the place. I have a couple in my car. I usually bring one in my bag at the wedding day, but you always want to have one of these. These are highly forgotten, but when your lens fogs up or something, or you touch the lens by accident, or it's just dirty for whatever reason, you can see the lights get all like weird and smeary, you're gonna want to have something you can wipe your lens off and know you're not gonna scratch your lens up. Now, I guess I could have listed this in my essentials, but honestly, it's kind of half and half. But I always bring a Flatlay mat with me to my wedding days. The Flatlay mats I use are by Chasing Stone, and I absolutely love them. And if you want to hear more about making flat lay photos, here's a video about that up above. But basically, I bring this to save me from having to find a nice space to take a flat lay detail photo. Now, a lot of times I like to do what I call the scavenger method, where you're basically just looking around for a nice spot and building it there. And that works for me most of the time, and I still do it to this day. But sometimes you just don't have the time, or the area you're in is just absolutely ugly. So having a flat lay mat that you can lay down like by a window, get some nice lighting, and get some nice flat lay photos is an absolute must. I will be honest, Chasing Stone is a little expensive. I'm not sponsored by them, so I did buy all of mine out of my own pocket, but I always use them. I absolutely love them. And if you can get yourself at least one or two, like a white one and a light blue or gray one, you'll pretty much be set for all the flat lays you need. Next up, we have another favorite of mine, which is bringing LED lights. Not a lot of photographers bring LED lights. They always want to use flashes for everything, but in certain cases, I think LED lights work better. All of our mirrorless cameras at this point show you what you get in the camera, so it makes it easier to set your exposure than using flashes. And in this case, that's why I like LED lights for certain photos. The main place I'm using an LED light is during a sparkler exit. My LED light of choice is the Lume Cube. It's super easy to use, pop it in your hot shoe, And for something like a sparkler exit, where I want the ambiance of the sparkles to shine through, but I need a little extra light, LED lights are probably the best way to get the best results. I actually have some videos on sparkler exits and using the LED lights, which I'll link up here above. You definitely want to check them out. But pretty much instead of using a flash so that they're not overpowering the sparkles, I use the LED, and that way I still get the ambiance and the photos look amazing. I'm generally bringing 2 lume cubes with me just so I can put one on each camera. What I've come to find is that 1 lume cube will be more powerful. That's going to be on my camera that has the tele lens on it. And then the other one will be a little bit less powerful, and I'll put that on my wider lens. That way, when the couple gets closer to me, I'm not overpowering them with the LED light. Who else uses LED lights? Let me know in the comments below. They are a game changer, and if you're not using them yet, I highly recommend picking one up. Now, the last 2 things on our checklist I think are some of the most important that a lot of people don't think about and or won't think are important. And this next one is business cards. I know business cards seem old and there's all these cool business cards that you can just tap on people's phones, but honestly, I like an old school traditional business card. Funny story was actually I was just traveling to a wedding in Charlotte, which is like a 3-ish hour drive for me, and I stopped to charge my car at like a Culver's. So I'm chilling at the Culver's, decided to get some ice cream, sitting outside. I'm like dressed up for the wedding because I'm driving in on the day of. Sitting down, have some ice cream. Some guy walks by and we like start talking a bit, get into a conversation. And I'm like, yeah, I'm a wedding photographer. I'm about to drive here, da da da. And he's like, oh, my son just got engaged. You know, do you have a business card? Again, you need business cards. I know everyone wants to be cool and techie, and business cards are so old school, but they work. I was able to just quickly whip out my business card. Boom, here you go. We'll be in touch. Get in touch with me. Let me know if you need some photography services. And then I was on my way. This happens at wedding days. I remember so many times on the dance floor taking photos of the couple, and other couples are like, this bro is pretty cool. I like his approach. And his photos are probably good. Hey, do you have a business card? Boom. Guess who hits me up in the next 6 months? So always bring your business cards. Like, I'm generally wearing something like this on a wedding day, and you have these inside pockets. So like they're right there and I'm ready to go. Get yourself some business cards. I have a link in the description below for Moo. It's like 20% off or something. Moo business cards are easy. They look good. Get yourself some business cards. And last but not least is a bottle of water. Now, you want to put this in some kind of thermos and leave it in your car. You're not going to be able to carry it around with you on the wedding day. The hardest part I think about wedding days are the fact that you're not eating or barely drinking for like 8+ hours. So normally I'm bringing water not for the wedding day, but for the drive to and the drive back. Since I barely drank during the wedding, when I'm done, being able to just, and get all my hydration back in is extremely important. So I always bring myself a corksicle, fill it up with nice ice cold water. And the nice thing is because it's like a thermos type, it keeps that temperature. So even if it's like the hottest North Carolina days, which be pushing 100, and it's sitting in a hot car, it's still gonna be cold by the time I get back after the wedding. A lot of people say snacks too, but honestly, like, I don't have time for snacks. Luckily, I fast often and I fast before my workouts. I like to work out first thing in the morning, fast it. It's a little crazy, but I absolutely love it. I love the way it feels. So to me, snacks, it's just too much extra stuff to bring. And it's also like the only time you get to eat a snack, you're like trying to hide somewhere and you're like, it's just, it's not a good look, right? So I'd rather just wait to the vendor meal. So water especially, but keep it in the car so you can go get it. Because you're going to be able to get water during the wedding day. During cocktail hour or something of that sort, when stuff starts to slow down, you can definitely get yourself some water. They usually have water out and about. Or you can go to the bar and they'll give you water as well. So bring the water for the car. Make sure you can get hydrated after you've just gone through a whole day of barely drinking water. These are all the things I think are absolutely important to bring with you to your wedding day. I hope this checklist makes it a little bit easier for you to think about what you absolutely need to bring with you and what's going to get the job done. If you have any other suggestions, please leave them in the comments below. And if you want to see me working with all this gear that I just talked about, definitely check out my full wedding day videos here, and I'll catch y'all next time.